What's going on, guys? I'm Cliff Jantz, and I'm here to answer the question, does it float? I'm just kidding. I'm here to answer the question, is it any good? With this video, we're going to discuss Clearly It Chapter 2. Now, before we get into it, I'm just going to go ahead and answer a couple questions. Yes, that is the Old Spice guy playing adult Mike Hanlon. And yes, Bill Skarsgård can do that with his eye. Now, go ahead and put this out there. The 1990 miniseries scared the hell out of me as a kid. It caused a lifetime fear of clowns. My friends had to make me go see the first one 2 years ago when it came out. I had to be drunk to go see it. I ended up loving it. It had a very Stranger Things feel to it. I might do a video on it later. But it made me very excited for this one. I think the first one's great. It stands alone. It has an ending to where if they didn't make this one or that one didn't turn out to be successful as it was, it still would have been a good movie. This one, however, just going to go ahead and warn you, you need to see the first one before you go see this one. So make sure you do that, because this one does not stand up so well on its own. It is a second part to another story. You can't just jump into it and be like, okay, what's going on? I recommend seeing the first one before you see this one. To prepare for this one, I listened to the audiobook. I'm a slow reader, sue me. I listened to all 44 hours of it, of Steve Weber doing different voices, actually quite well. He does a good job. And it made me excited for this one. I rewatched the 1990s miniseries, which is terrible, and I'm ashamed that it caused a lifelong fear of clowns, because it's just not good. The plot of this movie, if you're familiar with the book or anything, it takes place 27 years after the events of the first one, which took place in 1989, so this is 2016. The kids have all gone their separate ways, except for Mike, who stays in Derry as kind of a lookout because of the oath that they made as kids. Well, Pennywise starts showing up, murdering people. Mike makes the call to bring them all back to fulfill their oath to finally kill Pennywise. That's the plot. I really like this movie. I didn't love it as much as I loved the first one. We go in a couple aspects of it, but the good, we'll go ahead and get into that. The cast, they all do a phenomenal job. There are several standouts, but they all do a great job, and they all look like older versions of the kids they're portraying, which I thought was phenomenal. It's kind of creepy how close they are, but they did a great job casting adults that look like these kids, older versions of these kids. The standouts, of course, James McAvoy. He's awesome in pretty much everything he does. Even if it's a bad movie, he's still one of the good aspects of that movie. He does a great job as older Bill. Jessica Chastain does a great job as older Bev. There's certain parts that I was looking forward to seeing from the book that involve her story that they don't go into enough. But that's not her fault. She does a great job. They do something kind of cool since she was affected by the deadlights in the first movie. She's like the one that's most in tune with what's going on a little bit once she starts getting her memories back. James Razone, I don't know. He plays older Eddie. The only thing I've ever seen him in is the second season of The Wire. But he does a great job as older Eddie. He's still the nervous kid that's afraid of everything. But he just does a good job, and they plays the older version very well. Of course, the standout, the best part of the movie is Bill Hader. Everybody's been saying it, and I have to agree, as older Richie. This guy's able to act very well. He gives great one-liners to kind of break the tension of the horror scenes without taking you out of those scenes. He's also phenomenal in the drama roles. He acts scared very well, which is funny because I saw an interview with him on Conan where he's like, I'm terrible at acting scared. Well, in this one, he actually does a great job. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, where I think he's underutilized in this one. He does a great job. There's a couple scenes where it's him luring kids to their death, and you don't know whether or not to kind of laugh at them or to be terrified of them. And I think that's definitely on purpose, because that's the nature of Pennywise. Now, another good thing about this movie, there are several scenes from the book that I was looking forward to that translated well into this movie. There are a couple other scenes that either didn't translate well or they changed up that I didn't appreciate. But some of the scenes that stood out to me that I was really looking forward to and they didn't disappoint in the movie were the Adrian Mellon scene at the beginning of the movie. I'm not going to go into detail about that scene unless you've read the book. You know what I'm talking about. It wasn't in the miniseries. The Chinese restaurant scene is great because it kind of gives all these different emotions. You're happy to see these characters finally meet back together for the first time. They're having a good time. And then Pennywise kind of decides enough and starts messing with them right then and there. And then the horror element goes into play in this scene. So you kind of jump all over the place with this scene. And all the actors do a great job acting in it. To go from the happiness to the scared. The Mrs. Kirsch scene, I was really looking forward to it after the book. I was afraid they probably gave too much of it away in the first trailer for this movie. But they don't. There's so much more to that scene than what they showed in the trailer. And it's pretty terrifying, and I was very happy that it turned out the way it did. Richie's in the movie, all the characters kind of go off on their own to kind of help get their memories back together and to find a token. Well, Richie's scene by himself, and along with his flashback of that scene, are both what I want to see from what I remember in the book. This involves a statue that's in the town, and it's pretty well done for the most part. The CGI hurts a little bit, but it's still a great scene, and I was really looking forward to that scene, and it didn't disappoint me. Now, the first and third act of this movie are great. They get the ball. The first act gets the ball rolling. Kind of wish they focused a little bit more on the phone calls that they all get, because it was pretty in depth in the book. Also, kind of where all these people are in life. It kind of like they don't just get the phone call and show up. It focuses more on the aftermath of getting the phone call than it did in the book than what they did in this movie. The third act, it gets weird. It's crazy. It's all over the place. But it keeps the momentum going. It's the final little showdown didn't disappoint. It was both terrifying, exciting. I kind of laughed at it a little bit more than I thought I was going to. So I don't know if that was on purpose or if it just got kind of cheesy towards the end. But it was still enjoyable, and it kept the ball rolling. The mix, as I said, there were several scenes that I was looking forward to, and they knocked it out of the park. Well, there's also some scenes that I was looking forward to that they either changed, cut out. One in particular that I was really looking forward to is Ben's adult scare scene. In the book, he's in the library, and he's the only one that can see or hear Pennywise, and Pennywise is just messing with him, making everybody else think that he's going crazy that's in the library. I was really looking forward to that. But especially when they kind of focus on Ben in the library in the first one. But they do not do that in this one. In fact, his scare is a memory of like seeing them as kids, which brings me to one of my biggest problems with this movie, the flashbacks. I did not enjoy the flashbacks. Some of them kind of worked. That was the whole purpose of the first movie, was to see the kids' story. And then this one I just felt like should have been focused on the adults. If you were going to do it this way, then you should have just made it like the story of the book where the stories are intertwined and filmed them at the same time. But they didn't. They still threw in these flashbacks. Because also, too, they show the kids getting scared again. It's like, well, that's, like I said, the point of the first one. I want to see the adults get scared. Ben's scene as an adult, it's completely flashback of seeing the kid get scared. And it's like, we'd already seen that. So I don't know why they did it this way. I did not enjoy it. It took me out of it. I feel like they could have focused on more aspects of the story, maybe delve into some other things that didn't get wrapped up or didn't have the payoff story, some couple other storylines that didn't get wrapped up or didn't get the payoff that you really wanted to see. Sorry for repeating myself right there. But I feel like if they focused less on the flashbacks, they could have given some of those storylines a little bit more. Or maybe cut the movie down a little bit because it is too long. Because I felt like they said we want to make a long movie, so we need to add stuff to this time instead of writing a story and letting the time just kind of happen naturally. So it's too long, but that's really my main flaw. Oh, actually, the CGI in this movie is, when they do the creatures, it's very bad. And then also the child, when they de-age the children, it's very inconsistent. I mean, these kids grew 2 years since the first one, so they had to make them look like they did 2 years ago. And some of the scenes were phenomenal. There's two characters in particular that didn't seem to work too well for, and that was Ben and Richie. Like, you could tell right off the bat that, okay, those two are de-aged. For everybody else, it looks just like they did 2 years ago. In conclusion, though, while I did enjoy this movie, I didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. The first one set the bar very high. This one doesn't quite meet it. While the cast is amazing, most of the scares are pretty decent. It's not as scary as the first one. This one does rely more on jump scares than the first one did. I mean, the first one's just creepy because of all the stuff that's going on in the background. Go rewatch it. Pay attention to the background. There's a lot of creepiness that happens around the kids as opposed to the kids. I did enjoy this movie. I'm going to look forward to buying it when it comes out on Blu-ray and doing a double feature with the first one and this one. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to. I'm going to give It Chapter 2 a 7 out of 10. Let me know what you guys thought about it in the comments below. Did you see it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did it not be what you wanted it to be? Let me know in the comments below. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Cliff Jantz, and this is It Any Good? Thank you.